And so I would actually say it's the opposite of what people would think. People think that they're more critical, right? Because they're paying for something, they're expecting something. And I feel like it's such a loving community of people who are like so respectful. They know how difficult it can be to take off your clothes in front of people. But even if you're not taking off your clothes, like it's a level of vulnerability, right? Like you're showing a different side of you than maybe you would show on Instagram or some kind of other platform. And so I feel like people are so loving and so accepting. I love that platform.
How do people, and like I've been on OnlyFans, so I'm not like a total idiot here, but like how do
Yeah.
people make money like on the free page? Like, is there ads? Is that how it works?
No, so that's what I was like when I first started. I was like, how does this work? Like, how are people making money if it's free? So there's a couple things. One, pay-per-view messages, right? So people can subscribe to you and not pay anything, but they could be like, oh, I really want this video and pay as they come, right? Which obviously adds up because all of a sudden they're like, oh, I'll buy this video for $10, right? And they're like, that was so hot. I want this video for another $10, right? And then all of a sudden they're racking up. So that's one way. We do a lot of like we'll do bundles on there. We will do like dick ratings on there. And something I learned recently that I'm going to share too is you can do voice ratings, like voice messages. And so like I'll advertise like $10 voice rating and like people will like tip money to get that rating done. Um so that, and then I also do use it as like essentially a social media platform to funnel into my VIP page, which is a paid subscription. So I use it for both.
What is a dick rating?
What? Come on, you haven't had a
Oh, I
VIP?
mean, well, okay. I mean, I've gone on other people OnlyFans. I mean, what? Like, you just people send you their dicks, and you say
Yep.
this is like a 10 or this is an 8 or okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's exactly
And
how
you
it
rate
sounds.
it. Yep, it's exactly how it sounds. And so you rate it based on, like, for me, like something that I always look for is like I prefer well groomed. And so I'll usually comment that. And I'm like, to each their own. Just personally, when I have a dick in my mouth, I like would rather not have hair, right, in my mouth. So like also I'll say things like that.
And you give like a real rating. Like if it's like a dick that you
Yeah.
say is like a 2, you're like, I'm sorry, this is a 2, and some people are
I
fine with that.
I try and be kind. I'm like a kind person because I'm like, I don't want to like diminish somebody's whole person based on their dick, right? And the size of it. That's fucked. And that's something that society has told us like your value is based on your size or whatever. And so I'm like, I don't want to participate in that, but I also don't want to like sugarcoat and be dishonest. And so I'll usually say something like, it's a little smaller than I'm used to, but like, I bet that you can work it. I bet that you know how to use that for great things. And like, I mean, the number one selling women's vibrator is like this big. So I mean, who am I to say?
Seriously, no, I've looked at plenty of people's OnlyFans and I'm part, but I've never sent my own dick on OnlyFans, believe it or not. I
No,
mean, text messages, that's different, but no, not
that
on
is different.
OnlyFans.
Try it. It's
Uh,
fun.
Seriously, I can see there's a whole market for this.
It's a huge market.
As a teacher, like what's the average salary that like a teacher makes in like the US?
Yeah, so I had a bachelor's, a master's degree, and with my master's degree, I was making 43,000 before taxes. Before taxes. And I was going to get my PhD. I was a year away from graduating when the president was like, "We will not be paying you for that." Because there's no money for it. Like what are we paying like I was like 29 at the time. I would have graduated by the time I was 30. And paying a 30-year-old a PhD salary as a teacher, like they don't have it.
And if someone like if you stayed with teaching for your whole career and then eventually I don't even know what year you can retire and your pension kicks in. I really don't even know. Is it 59? I'm just making that up. It sounds
Yeah,
like that's what it
probably
is.
like probably like 20, 30 years. People always say that too as like a gotcha question where they're like, "Oh, but have you considered your 401k?" And I was like, "Lovey,
Yeah, no.
I would have been putting away about $1,500 a year. You know how much I can put away now? Like so much, it's not even a comparable thing."
I work for myself and this is content and people just I'm like, you know what? You don't think you know how it works? Don't worry about it. Like don't look at me. People don't realize when you really get into you stare into your phone, there's money there, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of money there.
What about, so like if you stayed with this, like, 59, whatever, you would have retired, but like what's like the end salary for a teacher? Like you were making 40 something after 6 years. Like, what do you think is the best like a teacher could do after all those years before retirement?
Maybe six figures.
Wow. Like
Maybe like
110, something like that.
I
Wow.
God, I hope so. But it would have taken me a long time because I'd already done 6 years. I've maxed out my schooling. Like,
Yeah. I mean, and how long did it take you to make like $100,000 on OnlyFans?
oh man. I mean, initially it was a slow start, but now like I can make that in a month.
How much would you say you've made? Like, how much would you say you make in a year from OnlyFans?
Oh man. I'll be close to 1 million. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you've been doing it for several years, so you're a millionaire from
Yeah.
OnlyFans.
Yeah. And that's what I tell people too. They're like, "Oh, it's easy for you." Like we were bankrupt. We filed bankruptcy in 2017. We had a car repossessed. We've been homeless. Like I've been through the shit, right? And so to like be on the other side and now being able to like help people, like we're super passionate about being able to help people to find, even if it's not OnlyFans, it's not for everyone. I'm not saying it is, but like to find what it is that like you're passionate about and like being able to do what you love.
Did your husband like have reservations in the beginning? Like, were there big reservations, or it was just like, and is he involved? Like, I know, like Denise Richards, we'll get into her and some celebrities in a minute. Like, she's on
Yeah.
OnlyFans now, and she says like her husband shoots all her videos.
Yeah. My husband has had zero reservations, been my biggest cheerleader from the very beginning. And shot a lot of my content. I do a lot of it now, but he participates in my content with me now. So
Are people that shocked that you basically make $1 million a year from
yeah.
OnlyFans?
Yeah. Yeah. People are like, well, show us the numbers. I was like, boo boo, TMZ posted it. They have the screenshots. And let me tell you, of all the outlets, TMZ does their like research, and they were like thoroughly going through my screenshots of like of my platforms. What is the difference? We want to make sure that like if we're doing an article that you've become a millionaire, that like you've actually done that. And so I was like, they're out there. Go find them.
That's how I originally heard of you, was from that TMZ piece. And they do their research. They don't just publish.
No, they do not. And all the media, because I've worked with so many different companies, I feel like they're the what's the word? Probably like they do their research the most of anyone. Like they dig in there.
Are you, with your $1 million a year, are you the like primary breadwinner now in your family?
Yeah, but we consider it a team thing because it's not just like me. Like my husband obviously participates, but also like there's a lot that goes into it behind the scenes too. Like I said, like doing the inner work has been something for me that's been a constant process of like working through the shame and the religious stuff. And so like he's there for me on the like mental and emotional and all the different sides too.
When you block those people, like, why did you block them? Were they just being like overly crude and rude? Like, what was their, I mean, I
Yeah,
block people on Instagram on a weekly basis.